I feel like the Tacoma community has a less hateable.
I think the Toyota guys, because they're very overland focused, mostly overland focused, they kind of live by that function over form.
Yeah.
Like there is no wasted space. I do kind of blame the Tacoma people and the Toyota people for the, you have to have a locker thing.
Yeah.
Because, offensive warning, Toyota people can't drive. Welcome to the Dirt Drive Podcast, everybody. I'm Tom. I'm here with PJ.
I'm PJ.
And that's it today.
Yep.
It is the weekend after Thanksgiving, so between holiday travels and some other misfortunes, it's just the two of us. Gonna do a potentially controversial topic here.
We're gonna hurt some feelings.
Yeah, lovingly. We'll hit it with a quick disclaimer that despite what our opinions are, we are still car guys first and respect other people's builds, even if they're wrong.
In our minds.
In our minds. Yeah, it's definitely an opinion thing. I don't think this is meant to be an end-all, be-all of what you should or shouldn't do to your vehicle. That being said, there are certain things that we do advise you don't do. So, yeah, take notes. Feel free to ask questions in the comments. We'll do our best to answer them as they come in, if there are any,
As respectably as possible.
Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna do the old Lightbars before lockers argument, which I know that I say that jokingly, but I am kind of a believer of Lightbars before lockers.
Yeah.
I
mean, you build it as you want. You don't have to do things first.
Right. I think
if you're trying to wheel the piss out of it and not do all these accessories, sure, go with lockers first.
Yeah. Well, I think the locker automatically jumps you into a relatively advanced category. Not saying they're not great to have and they don't work, but
definitely puts you in that position where you automatically need to start doing more than just fire roads.
Yeah. So like 90% of people, we run into it at the shop all the time. They come in and they go, I need lockers.
Yep.
And it's like, well, what are you going to do with it? Well, take my kids to school, maybe go to the beach every so often. All right, you don't need lockers.
How much do you drive it on a daily?
Right. There are lockers that are out there that are suited for daily driving, but it's, you're talking $4 or $5 usually to get into anything of good quality, and a high standard, which, yes, it's a safety line, but you can also just not put yourself in those positions.
Yeah.
Obviously anything can happen, which is why we always say don't wheel alone.
Yep.
A friend with a good tow strap is as effective as lockers.
Yep.
Especially
if you're in a big group.
Yeah, if you have a winch, and you do find yourself stuck, that winch can get you out. The lockers definitely give you more capability, but the whole light bar idea is definitely, I don't know if it's necessarily more beneficial.
No. I mean, it also depends on what area you're in, too. I hear a lot people not necessarily complain, but put the aspect of, are you in the desert? Are you driving Johnson Valley? Are you doing King of Hammers? Like, that's when you need light bars more than most people.
Yep.
But at the same time, on the East Coast, especially with the snow, driving in the fog, driving in the woods at night, especially with daylight savings time.
Yeah, it gets dark in the woods a lot quicker.
It gets dark, especially on these dirt roads out here.
Yeah.
I turn my rock lights on when I'm driving down my road just so I could see everything around me. But that's just me.
Yeah, it's like I'm trying to figure out how to put a light bar on my plow truck right now because I remember last last year I was like, like the site I plow at is well lit, so it's not necessarily for while I'm plowing. But there were a couple times where we're like, the storm would end and we get released at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
And now I'm driving home on like half a headlight on the plow.
One headlight.
Yeah. So, lighting is definitely key because that will keep you out of bad situations.
Yes.
Is kind of how I look at it. Also, I think the Jeep Wrangler specifically is basically a giant Lego kit.
Oh, yeah.
And like Lightbars really give you the opportunity to, one, personalize, but two, I think they also are a good DIY starter.
Oh, yeah.
Most reputable brands sell their lights with a complete harness kit. It might not be the prettiest install, it may not be completely hidden, but it's a good intro to, using some tools and the basic principles.
Yeah. I mean, that's how I got my start.
Yeah. Now, obviously, if you're building a trail rig, like a hardcore trail rig, and you're going to go rock climbing, don't buy the $3,000 KC light bar before you put lockers in.
But that's another good argument. If you're going to be rock crawling out in Moab or like doing like the competition course crawling in a buggy, don't necessarily need lights because they're just going to get
Also
messed
true.
up.
Yeah. It's a good set of headlights and fog lights.
Yep. And rock lights, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, is as effective as a
like
giant light bar.
Inset lights to the tub or inboard mounted on the roll cage somewhere.
Yep. I think one thing I want to see more of in the lights world is like scene lighting.
Yeah.
Like everybody's so focused on forward lighting or reverse lighting.
Yep.
What about when you're setting up camp? Like I forget who it is. Somebody makes like an overlanding control panel that you can dim lighting. And I'd love to see like some soft white or like, that kind of amberish.
I think
Is it Red Arc? Does Red Arc have one?
they probably do. What's the other one? I feel like the Pro Comp ones, the touchscreen ones, have the option to be.
Maybe it's the Switch Pro.
Switch Pros.
The Switch Pro may have a dim option.
What was the other one? I'm drawing a blank. The big one that people always use. It's got like the 12 gang switch. It's Bluetooth connected to your phone. Be able to use it on your phone, like away from the car. No. Oh, it's gonna bother me.
So, I think I know what you're talking about. I can't think of it now.
I know I've installed them too. That's the worst part.
Yeah. Oh, now it's gonna bother me too. S-Pod. Oh, Celsius down. That's all right. It's on the finished basement. We're good.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So S-Pod. Yeah.
S-Pod is the one that actually. I'm pretty sure you can use a dimmer on your phone.
Oh, that's cool.
With the Bluetooth sections of it. Years ago when I did one of their overland builds, that was one of the options that you could do. You could change the color, you could dim it, make it strobe. Like you could do all these different things with it.
That's pretty cool.
Which is why I want one, but they're expensive.
Yeah.
Bougie.
Yeah. Yeah, it's for me, I like just driving around, so like being limited and having to set up camp while the sun is still up.
Yeah.
It'd be great if it was possible to just not care, because you could just
basically
find your campsite, flip a couple switches, and then like your super bright road LEDs are really, now they just become scene lighting, and you can dim them down so you're not blinded every time you look at your truck or whatever.
I think Rigid. Pretty sure
Rigid's got like a high-low setting on some of their light bars.
They're more like King of Hammers based lighting that you can just put on the roll cage, but it would be too easy to not just put it on the, I guess, B pillar of a Jeep facing outwards if you didn't have a top on.
Yeah.
But even then, like, drop it down so it's just facing outside the window.
Yep.
Take the window off, just have the top.
Yeah.
Scene lighting.
I have to do some experimentation with some lights.
Be easy.
Yeah, maybe that's an interesting one. Let's Let's get into cosmetics.
Yeah. Let's talk Fab Fours.
The Grumper. The king of all angry grills that is the angriest for some reason. The Grumper.
So terrible.
Future Tim, go ahead and insert picture in the video of what a Grumper is and why we hate them.
That guy.
Yeah, it's so bad. The worst ones are the ones where they like carry it all the way up the windshield.
Yes.
Ugh.
When they first displayed that at SEMA, that was the year I went.
Ugh.
We walked right past that. It's hideous.
I remember asking the guy at Fab Fours, I was like, do people actually buy those? And he was just kind of like, yeah, kind of. I mean, it's, I don't know. I get it. Like, I'm all for customization and like all out crazy builds and like, you know, even if it's not my taste, but there are just certain things I don't get. And the Grumper's one of them. What's the point exactly?
If the picture will load. I don't know if you remember seeing this one.
Oh God, it's painted. Is that a mohawk? Yeah. Oh boy. Again, like not judging his style. I am a form or a function over form kind of person.
Yeah.
Like if you can make it work really good and make it look good,
yes,
that's cool. But just doing things for the sake of wild, just like it's never been a thing for me.
Yeah.
And frankly, most of the Grumper setups I've come across are not even really that high quality.
Yeah.
Like the color isn't always matched right. The paint jobs aren't great.
Yeah.
Like the fitment doesn't always fit perfectly to the Jeep. Like that's always what I think has turned me off. I've yet to see one done well. You know, even if I don't like it, I can appreciate quality.
There's a fine line between a kindergartner's fantasy drawing of a Jeep and Mad Max. Because at least Mad Max stuff is cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, I get the Angry Grill thing. Like, you're trying to mix it up, change it up a little bit, and, like...
just be different.
It's not my style. I don't hate on them that much. Thankfully, we have yet to actually have somebody ask us at the shop to install one.
Yes.
Which is a miracle. Because
knock on wood.
I'm very torn on whether I would or wouldn't. I mean, I respect the ideas, so I probably would end up caving into it. I wouldn't be happy about it, and I'm sure Brian and Tim and Trevor would hate me forever for doing it, but
it would be painful the whole entire time.
Yeah.
Between the Fab Fours, what else is out there? I'm pretty sure it started, the Grumper Grill started with the TJs when they started doing the angry eyes on the headlights.
Yeah.
And I think that started with the Miatas and the, like, not necessarily the drift.
And they would just like tape off the corner.
Not even tape off. They would just like either electrical tape angry eyes onto it or literally just paint over one side of the headlight just to make it look angry.
Yeah.
Angry eyes.
Angry eyes. Well, but that's because like I think that comes from the joke when like the Miata flip up headlights were there.
Yeah.
And they have like the super round bumper grill and they just look like a smiley face. They look like an emoji.
Little anime characters.
Yeah. So it's like I think people were trying to toughen it up a little bit, but it's a Miata, so like, you can't make it so tough.
Well, that and people started putting teeth in the grill.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen that one. Oh man. I've been out of the drifty boy and tuner world too long, I think.
Oh yeah, they started doing it on Jeeps too.
Oh no. This is like the Vader grill with teeth.
It's on extreme terrain.
Of course it is.
There you go.
Oh my god.
I
mean, I get it if you're going for a theme.
Yeah.
But like I think that's what annoys me about the Angry Grills are like you'll see a bone stock JK Sport.
Yeah, it's typically the bone stock
with
JKs.
some wacky ass grill, and it's just like, what are you? Like, come on,
why?
I get it, they're cheap. What is that, like $50? Oh no,
way off. Way off.
200?
Nearly. It's $160 for that grill.
I mean, for that, like, get some seat covers,
Yeah.
some grab handles.
That's the other aspect
A light
of this
bar.
conversation. You can spend $160 on a grill that does nothing. It's literally a hat
Yeah.
for your Jeep. But you could also spend $160 on something like a light bar or a switch panel or a head unit.
Yeah.
Something that will actually benefit you further and further down the road.
Shit, I'd rather, like, you could buy a nice sticker pack for $160. So just sticker up the old Jeep. Oh, well, that begs the
A
question.
decent pair of like fog lights.
Yeah. So if I gave you $250 right now to buy something for your Jeep, you couldn't spend more than $250, but you can't spend less than $240.
Yeah.
What are you buying?
That was kind of like my dad and I's main thought when I first bought the Jeep. We were deciding what's going to be more beneficial in the long run to do right out of the gate, which was, the soft top, because we just wanted to get the hard top off, make it fun,
Yeah.
Who doesn't want to drive around with a soft top,
Down,
take
yeah.
the doors off?
100%.
Yeah.
That's kind of the point.
And then we started trying to get like miles per gallon down, or not down, but more miles to the gallon out of it because I was driving to school, driving to college, all that kind of thing. So the ram air intake, we messed with tuners a little bit. Those were kind of few and far between that actually did anything.
Yeah.
And then air filters, throttle bodies, spark plugs. It's really not that much for TJs these days. For at least,
I feel like we're starting to go back. Like the popularity's there and people are buying trail rigs again. So I feel like the XJs and the TJs are starting to get love from the builders again.
Yeah.
But what are you buying?
Right now, for mine, budget is $250.
Yeah.
I don't even know what I can get for $250 at this point. I'd probably go for some kind of switch panel so I can access all of my lights, put it all on one system.
Yep. It's always good to keep it from burning down.
Yep. Like an actual good one.
Yeah.
Not
I don't know
just
if you
like
can
a
get
tiny one.
I don't know if you could get like some of those S-Pod Switch Pro things are like $1,000 because
Yeah.
they're all they're all fancy schmancy processors now.
I did spring for one of the cheaper ones that's on Amazon. They're just kind of like plug and play. You don't really have anything like labeled or, plug in. You just have to find whatever the panel is, wire it in, go to power and ground, and it's just there and exposed. I don't know. What is $250 in today's market?
It's a great question. Lug nuts.
Lug nuts.
No, I think
A wheel.
You hit a couple of them. Like if I'm a JKJL owner, like I don't necessarily believe like a K&N air filter is a mod per se.
Yeah, I mean it's an upgrade more than anything.
Yeah, so like that's where I would focus. I would do like the little things you talked about. Get a nice quality air filter that's reusable and rinse. You can rinse it out, clean it in between trips because like replacing a $15 paper filter every time you go off-roading is a pain in the ass.
You do the expensive part, which is the intake, and then it gets you the better air filter that you don't have to buy every single time. You just rinse it out, clean it, put some new oil on it, and you're done. And you use it for, I don't know,
5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
5,000 miles or whatever it is, depending on how much you drive.
Definitely worthwhile investment, especially if you do off-road.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we get so much dust here in the summer and everything. Like, do it all the time.
The Banks one that I had in there, it lasted me probably like 5-10 years.
Yeah, I believe that.
And I beat the crap out of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I would probably look at like doing some lighting upgrades.
Yeah.
The fender chop on the JL is a really
cosmetic stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's more of a I don't know if you would necessarily call that a DIY. If you are handy enough to do it yourself
Yeah, I think if
and
you
understand body panels, clips, and like how to put stuff on and off
shout
without
out
breaking
to
stuff.
American Adventure Labs. They sell
Yes.
that hardware kit that replaces all those god awful clips.
Oh, does it just bolt up?
It just bolts right
Aha.
up. Yeah, you rip them right off and you just bolt everything right together. And the thing that's nice about it is their inner fender panel.
Was that the removable one?
Yeah, the quick remove one. The brackets for those quarter turns are bolted into all of that, so it's all integrated.
That's one of those modifications that you spend the extra $200.
Yeah.
And get every penny's worth out of it.
100%. I think that brings up a good point. There are certain things that aren't worth cheaping out on.
Oh yeah.
Like I wouldn't cheap out on a winch personally. I'm not saying you got to buy the $1,000 Warn.
Yeah.
But
Depends on what you're using it for.
Yeah.
If you're new to winching,
yeah, I think from a budget standpoint,
Yeah.
you've got great
you got to start somewhere.
great option in the higher quality Apex from Harbor Freight.
The Badlands winch.
The Badlands winch is good.
It looks great. Like they did a really good
Yeah,
job.
well, so the new one you're talking about the
Yeah,
new
the one
yeah
that
the brand
Kevin has on his Bronco.
yeah. I think that's the Apex. I think that's the bad like it's like a Badlands Apex
it is
or whatever.
Apex.
Yeah, but the older ones like we have one on Tim's trailer,
Yeah.
and that thing's been used and abused. It sits outside uncovered, and it works
It's all the same internals.
endlessly.
They just
Yeah,
made it look prettier.
my experience with most things Harbor Freight, every once in a while there is one that should not have passed quality control. So like that's my hang up on something like a winch, right? Like
Yeah.
it's not that you're not going to get a good winch,
Just-
but it may not last as long as maybe your
don't know.
buddy's Badlands winch.
You don't know how many of those cheap Chinese parts are actually in there.
Right. You know, like there's 7 different factories that they get
Yeah.
parts from. One factory builds just absolute junk,
Yeah.
and you don't know what you're getting.
The quality control from one factory to the next is kind
Yeah.
of
The like rock sliders, bumpers, things like that, people tend to want.
dual battery tray.
Dual battery tray would be a good one. The problem is I don't think you can get a dual battery for that same $250
Well, yeah.
because the battery's going to cost you $200.
You can do the dual battery tray and then
keep
get that extra
battery
battery
separate.
whenever you want.
Battery's another good one that I think gets overlooked.
Yes.
If you,
'Cause you
especially
can
if you
get-
have an older one.
Yeah.
If you got an older Jeep.
What I think a baseline price for a decent like red top or yellow top Optima is like $150.
I think they've gone up. I think they're like $250 to $300
Probably.
for the group
It's
for
been-
the group
it's been a
34.
while.
Yeah. But I think that's a really good option.
230.
Yeah. It's like I spend all day looking at this crap.
Oh, no, sorry. $300 for a yellow top.
Yeah. So like getting a good deep cycle battery, especially if you do add the winch,
Yeah.
that
or if
will,
you're overlanding, really.
yeah.
Alternators.
AGM batteries are great. They usually have a deeper cycle,
Yeah.
so you can run them down a little bit lower.
What were the batteries you and Trevor were looking at?
Oh, at SEMA,
No, they're not Optimas,
the Odysseys.
Odysseys.
Yeah, we do a
And
lot of the
then
Odyssey.
There was another red one. I don't know if it was Odyssey or not. It was a bigger battery. I can't remember what the name brand was. You guys were looking at them at the same time as the Schumacher generators and stuff.
Yeah, the lithium
Yeah.
battery packs.
Those were
I
pretty
can't
big.
remember the name of it. Yeah, I mean that's a whole nother world though, because that's almost more of a camping, overlanding specific kind of thing.
They technically go hand in hand for like people who wheel the crap out of their stuff. Like
Yeah.
people who use the winch
Yeah.
like all day
Oh,
on
yeah.
a wheeling trip.
Yeah, I would definitely say a good battery, a good AGM battery it'll keep things alive. It'll help power a winch, especially
Yeah.
if you get a cheap winch. Keeping that amperage and that voltage up will prolong the life of that motor. But yeah, like armor, like people always want to go cheap on bumpers and rock sliders and stuff, and it's like, I get it.
Yeah.
I understand the budget side of it. Like, I live in that same budget world. But there's that level of expectation of, is this gonna last? Oh, hello, Rusty.
Hi, Rusty. You cared to join us finally.
Yeah, you got bored upstairs.
It's definitely not something to skimp on for armor, especially like if they come painted or rhino lined. Like, you can't trust another company's paint.
Yep.
Necessarily, like, not. We keep saying it, not to shit on certain companies, but like Smitty built stuff definitely doesn't hold up.
No,
like, it's good for like a daily driver or a show truck. Like, if you're just keeping it in the garage. Because it rusts over time if you're actually wheeling it, actually driving it. And then you end up spending more and more time trying to clean up the rust than you do just wheeling.
And I think the part that, like, people forget with powder coat is you can't really touch up powder coat.
No.
Once it starts flaking, you got to strip it completely off and either re-powder coat it or just paint it.
Yeah.
Like, there are certain things that I'll always defer to powder coating, but for the most part, like, our customers that we know are wheeling, like, their skid plates, like, buy the aluminum one. They don't do any maintenance on it at all, or just a can of black spray paint, so it's real easy to touch up later on. Same with like rock sliders.
You can take them off, paint them, put them back on, clean up any of the burrs.
Yeah. It's the. I think there's definitely a correlation between how much you want to spend and how much work you're willing to do.
Yeah.
If you're a DIY guy, like us, where we're in the shop all the time, even when we're off work because we have nothing else better to do with our lives.
Yep.
I got yelled at over the weekend because I was planning to go to the shop and was told I wasn't allowed because I need to spend time at home.
Yeah.
But it worked out good because I got work done on the plow truck, but I digress.
Yeah.
If you're okay with it, buy the cheap parts and just put the work in to maintain them.
If you know how to maintain them, like if you're going to be comfortable re-welding stuff, repainting stuff, if you have that knowledge and capability, go for it. Like, there's plenty of dudes that wheel the crap out of stuff and buy cheap stuff just so they can be able to do that.
And not feel bad.
Not have to worry about it.
Yeah, I think that's kind of where my mentality is. Like, I want the nice thing, but I also don't want to destroy the nice things.
Yeah, if you can find that cheap alternative that has the same effect or same look, there's no sense in just saving yourself the time and money.
Yep. I don't know, is there any other universally hated things that we haven't talked about yet?
I don't know.
Does this count as a mod? Ducking.
Oh.
Can we sprinkle that in with angry girls and grumpers?
I don't have a problem with ducking so long as you keep your grubby little greasy fingers off and out of another Jeeper's Jeep.
Fair.
Because when I come back out to my Jeep and I see that something's inside of my Jeep, I get a little pissy. It's a boundary thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I maybe that's a little bit of the old school car guy creeping in because I'm with you. Like don't touch my car.
Yeah, even if you're at a car show, you don't touch another dude's car.
Yeah,
like even if he's standing right there.
I mean,
I learned that lesson years ago when I was a kid. Like I leaned in on one dude's car and he's like, "Please don't touch my car." And he's like, "Oh,
yeah, it's about crap pants." Yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly where the idea of the rubber duck came from.
Yeah,
I love the community aspect of it. I love the fact that Jeep, like, they can be a complete stranger, but they drive a Jeep and, like, you're automatically like, hey, friend, what's up?
Yeah, and that's what a lot of people have been, like, tied to the ducks. Like, hey, this is me saying I like your Jeep. We can be friends now.
But you can also just come up to me and go, like, hey, I like your Jeep. Like, don't be creepy about it and leave me like the people putting their like Instagram tags and stuff on on the duck like that. Now we've taken it too far.
Yeah, I mean that's why I just initially I had my Instagram handle like on my Jeep somewhere,
right?
which is a little pretentious, but at the same time, like it's there.
Yeah.
Like if you want to find me, if you want to follow me,
Say hi.
it's right there.
Yeah, shoot me a like.
That's it.
Follow. Yeah.
Or having a card that has your Instagram tag on it.
Yeah.
Stick it in the window.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. I
You
mean, I
can
feel
throw
like
it away if you want. I don't care.
we're a bunch of approachable guys. Like just come say hi. Like you don't have to throw rubber ducks at me.
I mean, there's some cool ones, but at the same time, like people spend what, like $50 on like a 200 pack of rubber ducks just to like put on people's Jeeps.
And like I get it. Like it was kind of fun during COVID, right? Because you weren't supposed to like approach people and talk to people, and it was an easy way to say hi. Like I get where it comes from, and I don't hate on it for that. But it's just gotten so out of hand. It's like become a thing, and like
I don't like necessarily like how it's become attached to
Jeeps. Yeah,
like
if
you have a Jeep, you're gonna get ducked.
Right.
Like that's the new normal.
Yeah. No, I'm not okay with that. So I don't drive my Jeep anywhere. Also, it doesn't have a rear drive shaft right now. But if it did, I still wouldn't drive it anywhere. But yeah, I don't know. Like we get it. I get it all the time from like the Bronco guys. They're like, "Oh, don't you have a duck somewhere?" And it's like that's not a thing for everybody.
Just start sticking wooden horses on people's Broncos. I like a Bronco.
So that's actually a really good idea. That's pretty funny.
Unicorns.
Yes. There's got to be rubber unicorn duck things on Amazon.
Little wooden horses.
Oh, I bet you there's a unicorn duck.
Probably. I'm pretty sure Darwin had one.
That doesn't surprise me.
From one of his kids or something.
Unicorn party favors.
What?
What's up, Amazon?
I just keep.
Oh my God! Here they are. They're basically they're not duck shaped. They are unicorn shaped.
Yes.
Look out, Broncos in Northern Virginia! You're about to get corned. You need
not cornholed.
Cornhole.
Stick it in their mufflers.
I'm about to order these. Oh, we're going just Broncos and Toyotas, though. Oh, that's good.
No. For the Tacomas, you just get a whole bunch of squeaky toy tacos. You've been tacoed.
And this is why people hate other Jeep people.
Yep. Let's see if Amazon has some squeaky toy tacos.
Rubber. I'm sure they do.
I feel like if I type in rubber taco, that's not going to be good.
Do it. Do it. Oh, man. I don't know. I expected this to be way more of a long list of things I don't like about
there
Jeep
is.
But there is.
You just have to like seek it out or actually see it. Oh, hey, look at that. It's a taco with a...
Is that a rubber taco?
It's a plush taco, but it has a mustache.
Oh. It's a PJ taco.
Oh, there you go, Trevor. There's a keyed up avocado and taco keycap.
What?
There's $6.
Oh, so you
put it around your key.
That's pretty good, actually.
I would put that if I had a Tacoma. I would definitely put the taco
100%.
over top of that.
I feel like if we ever build like a shop Tacoma, it's got to be like Mexican food themed.
Oh, sweet! Look at that. It's a unicorn.
Is it a unicorn taco
with tacos? We're going down a rabbit hole.
Oh man, the internet. I expected. Like, I'm actually sitting here thinking about it, and I expected my list of things I don't like on vehicles to be a lot longer. That's fantastic. Is that a dog toy?
I think so.
Because I could totally see
dog toy.
I could totally see Bodie running around with a little little smiley face taco. Because like,
is there stuff on tacos that people don't like? I feel like the Tacoma community has a less.
Hateable. I think the Toyota guys, because they're very overland focused, mostly overland focused, they kind of live by that function over form.
Yeah.
Like Like there is no wasted space. I do kind of blame the Tacoma people and the Toyota people for the, you have to have a locker thing.
Yeah.
Because, offensive warning, Toyota people can't drive. So
Off-road or on-road?
yes.
Ah.
So like that's where I like Jeep people are like the good old boys, the rednecks of the off-road world.
Yeah.
The Toyota guys are kind of like, this sounds like fun, but I want air conditioning.
But they've been around for, well, Jeep's longer, but
I
almost
think
the same
I think
time frame.
The growth in overlanding has pushed some of the original overland guys to wheel harder.
Yeah.
And that's great. Like I'm all for it. Let's bash some body panels and bang rev limiters, but like there's a certain limitation, a mechanical limitation of your vehicle. And
No chrome. Chrome don't get you home.
oh yeah,
That's the Tacoma thing for sure. Jeeps aren't
Yeah.
excluded from that list either.
no, but I mean, I think as a whole, even like, across all segments of automotive,
Yeah.
you're starting to see a lot less chrome.
There's a lot of chrome in this area.
Yeah, I do think it gets used better. Like, I don't even want to call it chrome. Let's just call it bling. Like,
Yeah.
because there's plenty of flashy things you can do that don't get you home, but do look good. And I can appreciate that. Like the door handles and the like the door handle insert things
Yeah.
that the JKs have, like no function whatsoever, but they look pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh, I got one that drives me nuts. Excessive color matching.
Yeah, there is a fine line between
Yeah.
too much and yeah.
Like you got to have a little contrast. Like the ones where like the entire Jeep is white wheels, white bumper, white
There's a tasteful
flares.
way to do those.
No,
though.
there's not.
There is.
No, there's not.
Like there has been some on Instagram.
It's called contrast. You need to
Yes.
have other colors.
But
Come on, you're the art guy. You should know this.
I say that now, but there also is people who have done the all white but has had contrast with either black, gold,
Yeah, some sort of graphic.
bronze,
But-
pink, like
And I don't understand why is it always white? Like,
it's I wouldn't even say a purity thing, but like white just kind of signifies like a
Clean.
It's clean, pristine, it's pretty.
so going back to the body shop days, there's an old saying: if you want it done right, paint it white, because it hides everything. There's no reflection off of it whatsoever.
There's a lot of those white JK, JL builds that are like, I definitely see them more down in like Florida. than
Oh yeah,
anything.
yeah. It's definitely a Florida thing.
Yeah. Or California.
Yeah, it's that like low ridery mentality, but
beach vibes kind of thing.
so weird.
I don't know.
I don't know. Where was I? Maybe it was like, I think I was at like down like 15, maybe 29, like Gainesville, Warrenton ish, and there was like this all white like white 24s, white grumper.
24s?
Oh, dude, it was off. It was like a Brodozer off-road rig, but everything was white. Like the side steps were white. I just like,
But like you said, as long as there's a contrast, it's fine.
yeah. And like certain colors, like even like black,
Yeah.
like just blacking everything out is, at this point, in my opinion, overplayed.
Yeah, that's like when I first got my Jeep and I was trying to like figure out a name, figure out a paint scheme. I wanted to do all matte black,
Right.
and have like gloss accents.
Yeah.
like do the Warthog or whatever I was going to call it, the Black Pearl.
Yeah.
Do the Black Pearl name in like a gloss black on the hood so it would stand out over top of the matte black. But everyone and their fucking mother had a fucking black Jeep.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, I can do olive drab green.
Yeah.
Everyone had an ODG fucking Jeep. And I was
Yep.
like, God damn it.
Yeah. That and like the stormtrooper thing in the truck world
Yes.
was big. I'm knocking the all white thing. I've had a ton of white vehicles. I love white.
I have a white vehicle right now.
Yeah. Like my Grand Cherokee was white, and I was going for the stormtrooper look, and like it became kind of like a bit amongst my like college friends as far as me always having a white and black vehicle.
It's easy to do, especially if you're a Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
Which is understandable.
Yeah. Yeah, like Tim's got the actual stormtrooper helmet that he leaves in his white JK.
Yeah.
But yeah, the excessive color matching thing is a big one. I don't mind it as an accent in a couple spots.
Yeah.
We did that show and shine in Leesburg, and there was that Gladiator that was like black and blue.
Yeah.
Like that looked great. Because
Or the one that we just worked on. I did the inner fenders, and it's rhino lined with blue and silver.
Oh yeah,
That one was
great.
done really well.
That was done really
rhino
nice.
lined the Rubicon back onto the grill.
Yeah. But they had blue as like the accent color. They also had like the lighter silver and the darker silver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, most of the white Jeeps that you see, at least in this area, I'm sure they're all over the country. If it's all white, it's either a gold accent, a white accent, red, black. Bronze.
Yeah, it falls under
Tim.
the gold. Yeah.
Tim and Mackenzie.
Yeah, and like I know like they're trying to get away from the white. Like some of the Saharas came stock with the white flares and the white top, which I get it. Like I don't necessarily like it either. I like where they're going. They're going to do they want to wrap the top tan.
That would look cool.
Kind of like an old school
Yeah.
like the TJ Saharas.
See, that's like too much.
Yeah. Now make that with white wheels and a grumper, and that's what was driving around in Warrenton.
You might as well paint the tires white.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't get it. I don't get it. Yeah. Again, I mean, it's their personal preference. These are
Different strokes for different folks.
our opinions. A buddy of mine used to say all the time, he's like, hey man, it's all right. Like that's your opinion. You're entitled to it, even if it's wrong.
Yeah, everyone has opinions. They're like assholes.
Yeah.
Everyone's got one.
Yeah. I don't know. There's a lot of trends that come and go in the automotive world, and like I don't get. Yeah, it's like fashion, right?
Yeah.
Like you see all these ridiculous like dresses and shit on the internet where like it's like a chick walking around in like roofing shingles. And
Yeah,
it's
pretty much.
Like to me that's
Just outrageous.
yeah. Like you'll never see that actually doing anything.
And all the fashionistas are like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's what incredible design. And it's like she just like crawled out of a dumpster.
Stilettos on a Jeep. Right there.
Yeah, pretty much. And that like the automotive world moves at that same pace.
Yep.
And like I think certain things are trendy and they're cool and you can build it, but you should also have like I shouldn't say should. That's very No, you should evolve your build.
Yes.
Right? As car guys, like we always live by a project's never done.
Yeah.
If you build something, you go, it's done. I'm never touching it again. Like, I think you should evaluate what you're doing. Right. The whole point of what our hobby is you're evolving. So maybe you build your Jeep one way, and then you decide, I'm going to get into camping, and now you kind of build it into a little bit of an overlander, and you're like, wow, this is a lot of fun. I want to do harder trails. Now you start building a rock crawler. Like you don't want to limit yourself to one thing because of a design or an idea.
My Jeep's a perfect example of that because that's how I started. I started doing like the cosmetic stuff.
Yeah.
And when I actually started to wheel it, like took it up to Roush, took it to the Cove. I had the Mickey Thompson side biters with the MTZs on it.
Yeah.
And I got a scratch on the MTZ wheels or whatever, the side biters, and I was like, these are expensive wheels. I should probably downgrade.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I got Steelies.
Yeah.
And now it's a rock crawler.
Right. And now we're going camping a bunch, and you're like, shit, I wish I...
Yeah, now I need overlanding stuff.
Yeah, like now I got to drive this thing on the highway.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I
But
feel
it's
like...
progression. I mean, it's just like
Yeah.
your tastes in life in general. You go from being preppy to a fucking nerd,
Yeah.
or vice versa.
Yeah. Yeah. I forget what was it? I don't remember. But like I went somewhere with Carrie and I was wearing like a golf shirt and like khaki like cargo shorts, and I was like, "Oh my god, I've turned into a dad."
What would you say the epitome of a popped collar is for a Jeep?
Ooh. Ooh.
That douchey popped collar. What? I'm trying to think of what that would be on a Jeep.
Is that the angry grill?
Maybe.
I think it is. Like, it can be easily fixed, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's not a permanent modification.
Just put the collar down.
There's an initial like, "Huh!" And then you're like, okay, the rest of it's not so bad. I think it is. It makes you judge. Your initial reaction is to judge it negatively,
Yeah.
but then like maybe you come around the side and it's on 40s and 1 tons, and it's got a full roll cage and it wheels the shit out of it.
You
Like,
go, okay.
all right, like I can get past your anger grill because the rest of your build's pretty good. I wouldn't have put the grill on there.
Puka shell necklace.
Angry grill. I'm pretty sure like these are synonyms. These are all synonyms. Maybe
Frosted tips.
all right, we're just going back 20 years now. No, I think the frosted tips are that. Have you ever seen the Oracle grill?
Yes.
That's frosted tips. That's my parents have too much money.
Yeah.
And
the grill with all of the different colored lights.
Yeah, and they like dance
Yeah.
and shit. And like they tried to do 7 slots, but they
We saw one of those on the way to Pennsylvania. He was driving on, what is it, 91? I
81?
think. 81?
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
81,
And he
yeah.
had the lights going in his headlights, like broad daylight at
Gross.
that.
Well, but the one that always threw me off with that grill was like it was like the 2 little headlights.
Yes.
I don't get that. What's the point? Like, what do you like? It's not even proportionate.
No.
Like you went from 2 big 7-inch lights to 2 3-inch light, like 4 3-inch lights. It's not even the same amount of light.
It's overkill.
It was so weird.
Tribal tattoo.
Tribal tattoo.
That is,
Fake Rubicon stickers.
or Wrangler on the hood of your
yeah,
Wrangler.
Yeah.
Redundacon.
Yeah.
That's what I say every time I see one. It's just fucking Redundacon.
I don't mind the custom sticker on there. Like if you name your Jeep or something, like
Yeah.
Trevor had RebelCon to go with the Star Wars theme. Like I don't.
It's not a real Rubicon.
Yeah, well, it doesn't say Rubicon.
No, it's just ironic.
Yeah. No, I like that. I don't mind that. Like the sticker, like the custom sticker thing is cool. But yeah, just like generic Wrangler on the side is weird.
I like there was a picture I found years ago of a YJ that had Rubicon on the hood.
Nice.
It's nice. Minty.
Yep. Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
Bell-bottom jeans are 30-inch wheels on a JK.
pizza cut. I saw somebody on what Facebook group was that? Somebody referred to 33 12.5 17s as pizza cutters. And I was like, you have no idea what you're talking about. It's got to be maximum a 10.5-inch tire to be a pizza cutter.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Rubicon Wrangler lettering on a YJ.
Yeah. I'm okay with it if you've got like JK Rubicon axles underneath of it. Bone stock.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. How do you feel about the positioning of the high lift mounts?
Oh, yeah, not on the hood.
I'm a fan of just putting it in the back along the roll cage.
If it's not a missile for when you get rear-ended,
Exactly.
you're doing it wrong. No, yeah.
Or the Karens that go,
He has a machine gun on
that's
the
my
top of
favorite.
his Jeep.
I don't mind the aesthetic of it on the hood, but
yeah,
the function just doesn't work.
no.
One of my favorite, I shouldn't say favorite things, but one thing that always makes me giggle at the shop is when we get one in and the old mounts are still on the hood.
Yeah,
There's no high lift jack. It's mounted somewhere else, and there's the massive dent
yeah.
from where they tried
open the hood.
or they had to get the high lift off.
Yeah.
And they couldn't, and they forgot how heavy their high lift was,
Yeah.
and it bounced off the hood.
There's a lot of things that you put on your Jeep that you have to think ahead of time of how you're going to get it off in a sticky situation, like on your side, in the middle of a trail, or
and
at a 45-degree angle, stuck in the mud somewhere.
I want to like it because I think aesthetically it does look good and it's a good place for it.
Yeah.
But I won't do it just for the sheer fact of the function.
Yeah.
Now, if I build a show truck or something, maybe I'll put one up there that doesn't ever see mud and rain and stuff. But
that's the other aspect of it is I'd rather keep it inside the Jeep and not get rusty.
Yeah.
Because when you absolutely need it, it's rusty and you can't move it.
Nothing worse than the high lift that doesn't go back down.
Yeah.
Who did that happen to us once?
Or just you get up to where you're trying to jack and it goes goof, falls straight down.
Yeah, that's always a good pucker moment.
Because they will crack your skull open.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like like a 60-pound piece of cast iron.
Yeah.
Like it's not a small item.
But that's a conversation to have with people. Like, if you're going to put one in there, you need to learn how to use it.
Yeah, that's a big one. I think that can be said about it. Literally everything we just talked about is whatever you go with, be comfortable using it, learn how to use it, find a Jeep club, find a YouTube video, practice with it before you need it.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that's a big one that gets overlooked is people are like, I'm going to put it on my hood. Like, I won't need it that often.
Yeah.
But then they never actually try and take it off. And then, like, they installed it with a buddy.
Yeah.
And then they had to take it off by themselves or something, and it just becomes a
I have
nightmare.
no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But that can be said for another episode about tools that you need to bring.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a whole nother conversation. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm out of things I don't like. I feel like less of an asshole now, to be honest.
Exercise the demons.
I really thought this was just going to be like an hour-long rambling of just a long list of things that I hate.
Plenty more. Obviously, we don't have Tim and Trevor here to add on to.
I don't know. I mean, you could pretty much sum this up as grumpers and angry grills and color-matched everything.
Basically,
anything else is fair game in my mind.
If you're building,
there are things I wouldn't do,
but if you're building a show car, that's how to sum it up. If it's not going to see off road,
I guess that's another one. I don't hate on people who are mall crawlers.
Oh yeah,
but
that's like the biggest thing, the mall crawler.
Yeah, but don't blow your entire budget on off-roady things.
Yeah, like if you spend the money on all of this expensive stuff that you use off-road, and then you never go off-road.
Like, you've got the high lift on the hood, your entire Jeep is Rhino lined, you've got Genrite and Moto-built armor everywhere.
All of the hardcore off-road guys just cringe, like, you have all this nice stuff and you don't wheel?
Well, the other one that gets me, like, we get it at the shop all the time, is like I don't understand why my ball joints are worn out already. I don't even off-road. And it's like, well, you put 40s on.
Yeah, you have all of the stuff on your Jeep and your ball joints are screaming at you.
Right. You Rhino lined it. You added 300 pounds worth of paint to your vehicle. Like, you've got a massive roof rack. You've got massive bumpers. You've got the biggest winch that you could buy. Like it's
and you daily drive it.
Yeah, it's
on the toll road.
It's okay to not off road. Like, you don't have to build yourself a badass 1-ton rock crawler if you're not going to off road it.
Yeah,
like, just put the big wheels and tires on, like, and build the lift kit, do the color match, do whatever cosmetics you want. But, like, you don't have to spend the money. Well, I don't look legit if I don't have a winch. Well, you're not legit, so you don't have to worry about it. Like, I think that's really the key, is build what makes you happy, and, like, don't listen to the haters like us.
Basically, build it how you want, but also don't don't knock the serious off-roaders for shitting on yours,
Yeah.
because we make a point. Just accept it.
Yeah, I do. The car guy in me loves form. The off-roader in me prefers function.
Yeah.
And that's like, I will always try and do a combination of the two. And I get like, there's a line that has to get drawn somewhere, but
Yeah.
you know, if you're modding your off-road rig, it should be for off-roading.
Oh, such a good picture. I forgot about this one.
The king of light bars, the final light bar boss. And that, you know, that's a fair question before we wrap this up. Since we are pro light bar before locker, is there such thing as too many light bars?
How much is too much?
If you have to put a second battery in to run your lights, it's too much.
Yes, and then if you're wiring your own lights and you have
Miles.
rivers and rivers, lakes of wiring just under your dash, in the fender, just going every which way without any form of good looks to the wiring, you should probably revoke your Jeep card.
If you wake up in the morning and have to post on Facebook that your Jeep battery's dead and you're not sure why,
my car's on fire. I don't
you've
know
got
why.
37 light bars, you've got too many light bars.
Hopefully insurance can cover this. Yeah, now when they look at the wiring.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, I forgot when like the dual light bar brackets were a thing and running 250 inches stacked on each other. Thankfully, that's died out.
Are there, I guess, without getting like into lift kits specifically, what's one that you cringe every time somebody spends the money on? Like, I know Rough Country is up there.
Rough Country's up there mostly for the fact that like people go, oh yeah, I want the 4-inch lift, and they get the 4-inch Rough Country and there's no geometry correction whatsoever.
Yeah, they just want to like put a lift gun on it. They don't care about like the actual
being
geometry
able to drive
of
in
it.
a straight line.
Yeah. Or the ride quality. They're just like, oh, that's a cheap lift. I'm going to go with that one.
I think the reason that stuff bothers me so much is because it gives Jeeps a bad look.
Yes.
Because that person is uninformed and or I should say misinformed, not uninformed, misinformed. And
it's always a newcomer.
Yep, and they're always a DIY guy.
Yep.
And they put their own lift kit on, and then
Something's put on backwards
for
or
6
upside
months,
down.
Yeah, for 6 months they have to wrestle that Jeep around, and they go, Jeeps are garbage. It's absolute trash. Never buy a Jeep. They don't buy
terrible.
Yeah, they don't buy another Jeep because of it, and it's like.
But then you get us in the forums going, well, you spent the money on a Rough Country, so.
Well, but it's also not just Rough Country. Like even like TerraFlex sells a basic lift kit.
Yeah,
but
I mean, most of these companies do now. Just like this is to get your feet wet in the off-road world.
The difference is TerraFlex's basic lift kit is $400 more than.
Yeah.
So like you're like, why would I spend this $400 more than when I can get the same thing from Rough Country? And then it's back and forth. But like even TerraFlex will put in their fine print on the listing, requires lower control arms, requires track bar relocation, and
tell
then
you what you actually need.
And then you start pricing out everything individually, and you realize, oh, that's why the complete ST2 lift kit exists.
Yep.
Rough Country doesn't do that. Rough Country just goes, oh, your budget's $600? Here you go.
Yeah. We're just going to exclude everything that you need to do after the fact.
Yeah.
Because that's another thing that people hate about it is they don't realize what's entailed afterwards, like the driveline angles, the track bars, the suspension of like, just the geometry and getting it aligned and, straightening the steering wheel.
The other one that we always try to advise people on is the maintenance that goes with it.
Yep. Because people just assume to put a lift kit on.
Yep.
They don't need to do anything else after that.
Yeah, well, and
it's good for life.
Yeah, no. Yeah, and it's like we see blown out rusted shocks, And it's like, oh, I put that lift kit on like 4 years ago. What do you mean they're blown out already? And it's like, they're shocks.
That was my Jeep. Like when I was at Wyotech, we were in our chassis portion of class, and I was going through my entire suspension because it was, undercoated with that black crap. So I didn't know what kind of lift it was.
Gross.
And I literally had like 5 coats of, degreaser and razor blades, just like cutting away at it to find out it was a Rubicon Express lift.
Yeah.
Which I was like, oh, cool. This is a good lift.
Yeah.
But I don't know how long ago it was put on.
Yep.
The shocks were blown out. The springs were blown out. The rear shock upper mount, the rubber, was already worn through and was wearing into the fork. So I was like, I needed a new lift.
Yeah.
Cue the 4.5 long arm kit.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, especially if you wheel it, like you got to maintain it.
Yeah.
Like those joints are not the rubber bushing. Like, yes, they're upgraded over factory, but that doesn't mean they last as long as factory.
Yep.
Or they don't need the attention or the lack of attention.
Yeah.
Like there's a reason Jeeps don't come factory with Heim joints.
Yeah.
Like it's
because people wouldn't maintain it.
Well, it's not even that. Like the average consumer would hate it.
Yeah.
Because every time they go to the dealership for an oil change, they're also going to have to.
What is this $150 maintenance fee?
Yeah, they're going to have to torque and re-grease everything. Like it's expensive.
What do you mean my control arm's $110?
Yeah, yeah, not the $25 of the normal factory one. Yeah, that's.
That was the conversation I had with my parents, though. I was like, do I spend the.
Did we just add bad Jeepers or bad owners to the worst Jeep model list?
Uninformed Jeep owners.
Uninformed.
Is that a good.
Misinformed. Let's go with misinformed.
Misinformed.
Because, like, I'm sorry, but in today's world, you can't be uninformed.
Yeah.
You can just be led astray by
Jeeps
bad
have
information.
been around long enough. There's multiple different outlets to get all of this information from, and, the ducking.
Yeah.
There's people who drive Jeeps everywhere.
Yeah.
And if it's
just ask.
It's like CrossFitters.
Yeah.
They're going to tell you they drive a Jeep.
Yeah. But also make sure you're like getting relevant information.
Yes.
Everybody's rig is different.
Don't rely on a specific forum.
Yeah. Find somebody who's got a build as close to yours as possible.
Yeah.
Find somebody who's using the same lift kit. Find out what they do. What were they recommended? Talk to the manufacturers.
Yep.
And the shops. Like, anybody that needs information, we're more than happy to help.
Talk to the people who have the experience.
Actually, if there's anything the listeners want to know or want us to do an episode on, we're more than happy to.
Yeah.
We're looking for ideas. Shoot us a message. And anything that we've said that may or may not have been offensive, contact our producer at Tim, that's TIM, at dirtnerdsoffroad.com. That goes directly to Tim's email. So yeah, anything you don't like that we said, just go ahead and let him know. But I don't know. I feel like overall we were not overly offensive.
No, that's pretty much like the majority of people's gripes about Jeeps.
Yeah.
At least in this area.
Yeah.
We can't speak for like the West Coast.
Yeah,
people.
maybe the Grumper guys are like more West Coasty than we are.
Or up north in the Michigan or Chicago area.
Those guys are just happy they haven't rusted away yet.
Yeah. There's no Jeeps left.
Yeah, it's because it's a Jeep, so it just rusts.
Miami's completely different.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no rocks to crawl over. You just got to get through sand.
I feel like that is a cool aspect of the off-road world. Like,
there's so many different variations.
It's I don't even know what to call it, but like
Diverse.
It's a very diverse and it's kind of like animals where each one has their own like geometrically and
like a dog. Like there's like 17 different
not even
breeds
that,
of
like
dog.
they're conditioned and
for their
region. Like
that's a good point.
Like West Coast is completely different from East Coast.
Yeah, like Milestars work West Coast, but they don't work on the East Coast.
Yeah. Like tires, like there's things that you need compared to East Coast to West Coast.
You need ridiculous light bars when you're
the
doing 80 miles an hour in the desert.
aspect,
you can see, yeah.
Like the roads on the West Coast are probably a little different from the East Coast. Like
Yep.
going up to Pennsylvania, it's mostly concrete highways.
Yeah, because it doesn't.
Ours is asphalt
Yep.
in some locations.
Yep.
Miami is
Yeah, because of the temperatures. Sand. And potholes.
Yes.
If you've ever been to Miami,
Sinkholes.
it's a lot of potholes. Yeah, I don't know. That's a good, I feel a good comprehensive list of our pet peeves.
And if anybody else has other ones that they don't
Yeah.
like, please put it in the comments.
Oh, yeah.
Or send us pictures.
Yeah, hopefully, let's make this a big social media discussion.
We could do a part 2.
Yeah, we could do it. We could totally do a part 2. Please tell us what you guys hate. If it's us, if it's the elitist rock crawlers, if it's
Overlanders versus rock crawlers.
no, we
It's like snowboarders versus skiers.
oh yeah, that could be a fun one actually.
Yep.
I could think of a couple people we could put mics in front of and let them just go at it.
Round 1.
That could be a fun episode. Yeah. Please, let's have a discussion about worst Jeep mods or your least favorite Jeep mods in the comments section. And also tell us what you guys want to hear.
Yeah, what you like versus what you hate. Not necessarily hate. Dislike.
Yeah.
Hate is a strong word.
Yeah. All right. Well, then we'll wrap this episode up and we'll be back next week, maybe with or without the rest of the crew. Not really sure yet. Talk to you guys later.
Bye.